Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. When I was a little boy, there was a sweet shop in the village where I lived, and one of my favourite things was to go down to that sweet shop and to buy myself some sweeties. My parents used to give me pocket money, but when my pocket money ran out, that was the end of sweets. Until one day I discovered my dad's money bowl. He kept it in his bedroom with some change that he could use to buy things when he needed it. I knew the money was his, and I knew it was wrong to take it, but one day the temptation got so strong that I took £1, walked down to the sweet shop and bought some sweets with it. The sweets tasted delicious, but of course I felt guilty about what I'd done. But I didn't tell my parents. And a few days later, I did the same thing again. This carried on for quite some time until one day my parents caught me out. Then I was in a lot of trouble. But they forgave me. And with their forgiveness, I was able to stop doing it and stop feeling all that nasty guilt. I think Jesus gave us this prayer because he knew that through our lives we do get tempted. There are lots of passages in the Bible that talk about evil forces, things that try and distract us from living God's way. In the Bible, we're told the story of Jesus at the start of his mission, going out into the desert and being tempted by the devil. He is offered all the kingdoms of the world and amazing power if he will just bow down and worship the devil. But Jesus resists. Another time, just before he's captured and taken away to be executed, Jesus is tempted again to try and not do God's plan. But again he resists and says, "I'll do what you want, God." He knows God's way is the right way. And finally, when Jesus was on the cross, people looked at him and laughed at him and said, "Save yourself, come down from the cross," which he could have done, but he resisted. So Jesus knows what it is to be tempted, and he knows that we'll face temptation as well. So he's given us this prayer to pray every day if we can, to remind ourselves to ask for God's help to try and live our lives in the best way he wants us to. And if he tells us to ask God for help, then we can expect God to help us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Matthew 6, verse 13.